Greetings Midgardians, Viking Gamer here, and this is part 13 of my single-player Doomstack versus multiplayer series. So today I'll be playing as dwarves. Now, straight from the top, I don't really know if dwarves have a Doomstack per se. I don't really, I kind of have them balanced armies when I play it on single player, but some people were saying that Ironbreakers are meant to be, just like spam Ironbreakers, a lot of artillery is meant to be like the shit. So I decided to try that. So I have, how many of them are there? I think 10. Yeah, 10 Ironbreakers, 1 organ gun, 1 grudge thrower, runesmith, and a Beligar iron hammer. I was actually gonna get an engineer to improve them, but I've misclicked. So just something on the note. I'll just play it. Now, my opponent, straight from the top, is the guy I played with before, so he knew I was gonna cheese. So what he did was pretty smart. He just brought a lot of, a couple of 9 goblin fanatics, but what he did, he went full Vanguard kind of mode. So look at him, he hit everyone here. I didn't know, that he was there. I wasn't able to see him. Brought a lot of 9 goblins and nasty skulkers and stuff like that. Basically, things that could be hidden. And he brought a lot of squig hoppers, and then of course Skarsnik. So you can see they're all, not them, but these guys still hidden from my sight, so I have no idea what's coming. I saw these obviously, so I started moving these around. He still got through. They can see he went straight for the grudge throws, meaning that he was able to disable one of my artillery pretty much straight from the top, whilst these guys kind of kept me. Suddenly I saw them, and now it was a bit too late. I didn't realize there was only 3 of them here, while I had 5 of mine lined up, and I still had no idea the bulk of his army was only coming. So pretty smart move on my opponent's part. Yeah, see, you got the fanatics in. These luckily missed, but the rest of them, they did a pretty good damage. Yeah, for just a little, cheap unit. Look at that. 2 of my Ironbreakers completely shattered almost by 1 or 2 fanatics. It's just ridiculous. Then he's charging from the back, and still at this point I have no idea where bulk of his army are. They are still hidden. Yeah, the what was it 2.5 to 1 the odds roughly, because of slightly a lot less than usual obviously, because now I actually have like 1,000 units instead of 10. And overall he's doing a really good job. Look at that, he disabled both of my artillery. Some of my Ironbreakers are breaking already, ironically. And now obviously bulk of his army comes. I'm starting to see at least some of them. These guys are still, the nasty skulkers I still don't see. He's flanking them around without my knowledge. And he still has archers in the background, so obviously this fight was was very much him, making the moves and me just simply reacting to them, which obviously isn't ideal. It's not what you want to do, especially the dwarves, since they're so slowly moving. I had a Beligar iron hammer that I brought with them. There isn't a particular lord that's best for this kind of stag. I just decided to take him because he's a bit of a beast in melee, really. This was pretty good, like just getting a lord in and just like shooting the mines around him. There's a lot of damage to them, no damage to me. Pretty decent. And obviously he brings the 9 goblins in. I don't even know if he has any more fanatics, but either way. shooting in my units, to be honest. That wasn't very smart of me, I suppose. And there you go, another fanatics, another row of fanatics, and they're absolutely shattering my line. Obviously, since the dwarves are so tough and you know, resistant in melee, they were able to hold the ground either way, but the damage has been done. He's activated a warp. I'm trying to get rid of Scarsting a little bit, but it's not really doing the job that great. My Runesmith and Belegar, they're not really doing that well. They're losing the current combat until the mines fly in. Yeah, so this flank is pretty much sorted at this point. You know, most of his units are broken, shattered. Couple of Night Goblins left, but I think he's just waiting with them to recharge his ability before he can send it again, which at that point obviously I don't realize. And yeah, it was overall it's a pretty close fight, I'd say, but because obviously the units he brought wouldn't be hitting their own goblins, and they don't really last that well in melee, but unless they're under, what's his name? The new guy, Grom, the Paunch. Obviously, he makes them so much better in single player that you can go through whole campaign with just goblins and you're just fine. But this wasn't the case. As you can see, most of my units, look at them, they're basically done for. Like, you're just shooting into them and there's absolutely nothing they can do at this point. Belegar's getting... I mean, the balance of power went up back to the middle, whilst before it was like about a, you know, only a third way towards mine, but... all of it, just these range units are doing a lot of damage. I bring, like, the last remaining Ironbreakers from this unit in there. But then I actually stupidly shatter them with my own ranged weapon. It takes out the Night Goblins in the process, but my units are, you know, they're worth more. Yeah, some of his units are starting to come back. Funny thing is, I don't actually remember if I lost or won this one, so ironic, you know. I'm actually gonna be just as surprised as you are about the result, because, like I said, I honestly can't remember. I mean, the balance of power is starting to go to my favor, but I still has a couple of Night Goblins. I think he's gonna use them now to wreck the remaining units of mine, but I'm not quite sure. Yeah, there you go. He sends the Fanatics in, and that just breaks the rest of the Ironbreakers. Look at that. Because they have them all in such a straight line, he was able to get through to pretty much all of them. You get some boosts on Scarsnick. Look at the balance of power starting to come down again. And his archers is finishing off whatever ransom, because basically my units break. It's 200 against 300. If they stood their ground, if they were unbreakable, I am pretty sure I would have won. But because they were not, they shattered, and then once Belegar is unbreakable, but once he was gone, it was GG. Overall, it was really tight. You know, it honestly, if I didn't have them in a row like this, it's possible. You know, he wouldn't have been able to do the Fanatics, and that way, I probably would have won, because it was like 2v1 on mine, and my unit is just so much better. At this point, like, there's like 1 or 2 units that have come back, but they're gonna shatter immediately anyway. Yeah, now it's kind of like playing You know, delaying the inevitable, more like... let me speed this up. So send these two guys in just to, you know, shatter them basically, because at that point I knew I wasn't gonna win anyway. Yeah, there you go. So valiant defeat. You know, it was a solid one. I'd say that Ironbreakers definitely work. You're just gonna have to micromanage them a little bit better than I did, because I wasn't that great at it. But yeah, off to the next one. All right, so on a second try, I had the same setup, except what I did, I changed. I had 2 organ guns instead of the lock lobber, and I had the engineer, like I said I would, instead of the runesmith. I have 10 of these guys again. I had these 3 in a bag just to protect the organ guns, and my opponent is playing as Last Defenders, so Krokar. He's got quite a bit of cavalry. Well, some, but he brought a lot of monsters, obviously. He's got feral carnosaurs, blessed carnosaur, Krogar on his own carnosaur, Bastillodon with a crystal, and Lord Croak, obviously. Everyone always brings Lord Croak. Pterodon riders, what is that? 2 Saurus warriors, 4 Saurus warriors, and 1 temple god. So obviously I have the ranged at this point. I have the artillery, which means he's coming to me whilst I'm just shooting, trying to do as much damage as I can. Like, one of his cornersaurs is just blast. He's just charging in. I think he's just trying to take out the organ guns, because he knows I'm gonna have to move up to intercept him, which means I'm gonna block the view from these 2 guns at the very least. And obviously it's a fucking dinosaur, like he can just push through and go straight into my organ guns. I managed to, you know, blast him quite a bit, but obviously my organ guns get damaged in the process, and they basically become unable to shoot for a good while. Here, another carnosaur is just flanked me in here. Same thing. Same problem. I'm trying to use the back ones just to, you know, do some range damage to try and but obviously whilst I do that, I'm actually doing a lot of damage to my own units. Same here, another one on the flank. You know, I'm trying to protect it. He charges in with the horned ones and Krokar. At this point it doesn't look that great, to be honest. This time, funnily enough, I actually have superiority. I have 2-to-1 advantage as far as in the amount of units, which is the only time this ever happens in this whole series. Alright, so as Bastillodon comes in, I'm trying to kill it with Belegar and the engineer. Obviously my organ guns are getting kind of wrecked in the process. It says they're winning in melee, but I mean, let's face it, they really are not. Now with these, look at the Terran Riders, that's the ones with the... No. Oh yeah, no, they're the ones that throw the bombs, I think. So he just sits there and just shoots at me from the... There you go. He just drops them down, completely shattering some of these units. Lord Croak in the back. Balance of power starts to move towards his. It's a close one again. And it's kind of all over the place. Yeah, one of my organ guns and one of my Ironbreakers is already breaking. So at this point, I'm not being very hopeful. You know, it's a really tough one. Krokar doing what Krokar does. There you go. And Croak obviously doing a lot of damage. Let's look at this carnage a bit. Dwarves fighting dinosaurs. Warhammer only. Yeah, you can see I just killed off a lot of my own units with a very poor micromanagement. Now there are more dinosaur and dwarf action. Obviously this T-Rex-like thing, jumping on the wolves like they're nothing. They're getting up though. I've always really liked what the Croaks one is, because they're basically, you know, it's a corpse, right? Technically, his body is just a rotten corpse. Like, it's just a spirit doing the damage, so it just like comes up to do things. Alright, well, this flank is looking like kind of decent. I have 3 units here. The Temple Guard is pretty much gone. The Saurus Warriors are still halfway there, but obviously Croakgar is doing most of the damage. I have almost managed to bring Bastillodon down. It's starting to break. I'm fighting with the Belegar and one of the Ironbreakers. Horn ones are almost spent. They don't really do that much work, to be honest. Bastillodon doesn't really have that much kills either. At this point, you know, the organ guns there, I'm not able to use them, so I just brought them in and started shooting at Croak. There you go, he just absolutely annihilated this unit with his spells. Now this flank, as you can see, my units are breaking a lot. Most of them are back. Actually, these guys came back ages ago, but due to the heat of the battle, I didn't really notice them. So they were just sitting there for ages. I don't even know if I ended up using them towards the end or not. These Pterodon Riders, that was a kind of a smart choice. I don't know, like obviously if I had some Thunders or something, I could have brought them down easily. Again, same problem. I'm just actually no, these are shooting, so they're not forgotten for once. These Carnosaurs annihilating my organ guns. Yeah, notice now. Yeah, there you go. 2 of them in a row just standing there doing fuck all. That was a very, very poor micromanagement on my part. The Bastillodon is gone. There you go. I noticed they were there. I just put them, as you can see, I just put them here so I could shoot, because obviously they were not gonna last that much long. I just tried to put them on the hill here and shoot down with their ranged weapon to do some damage from the distance. He's bringing in another 2 more Carnosaurs into the fray to really finish off the job. Oh, there's 2 Bastillodons with Revivification Crystals. Okay. Revivification Crystal. There you go. Better. I didn't notice that before. Okay, so either way, these guys are completely surrounded. It says they're winning slightly, but again, they are not. Belegar's kind of just standing there for a second. I don't remember when I bring him in. The horn ones are gone. These guys are chasing them because I forgot to put them on a guard mode. I think I managed to pull them back a bit later. I've got the engineer because he has a missile weapon. He has a gun, so I just have him shoot. I don't remember who. I think I'm shooting at the Feral Carnosaur. Nope, I'm shooting at the Bastillodon, trying to finish it off. Somehow the balance of power is actually going to my favor because most of his units, he still has most of them. Actually no, he's falling it down, but I mean he still has all of the monsters, which are really the big balance of power things. And some of them are damaged, but the other, some of them are still Croakgar, and the other Carnosaur there just halfway only. Bastillodon is finally dead. I managed to finish him off with the engineer. Lord Croak is there, coming down. There you go. I've changed the engineer to the Lord Croak, trying to finish him off, which would have been a huge deal, obviously, as Croak does a lot of damage. What does he have? 122 kills already. Ironbreakers start with 100, so he did more than 1 unit. Again, now it's just all coming down to like this flank where we're just blobbing up everything we have left. He's bringing the rest of this Templar Guard, the rest of his Saurus Warriors, and Croakgar shatters at that point, and with him, basically everyone else goes. The only one who's left is Croak, who is unbreakable, and he's about to go. so completely surrounded by dwarves. There you go. Managed to do a few more friendly fire kills, like I always do. Oh, that was an organ gun actually. Yeah, I managed to get some of the units back and just shoot from the distance at that point, since they were free. Alright, anyways, there you go. That's it for the Ironbreakers. They are, you know, they are very decent units for the multiplayer. I reckon, you know, combining with some ranged units for sure. Otherwise, it's a bit one-dimensional. But it was a lot more micro-intensive than some of the monster ones where you just kind of sit back and watch. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Like and subscribe for more. And next time we will be doing a 3-man Doomstack. So stay tuned. See you next time.